Does this sound familiar? During a critical time in the cockpit, the pilots are talking about things that have nothing to do with flying the plane and fail to notice they're headed for trouble. Today, the NTSB released transcripts from the cockpit of the commuter plane that crashed near Buffalo last February. And similar to the ComAir pilots who crashed near Bluegrass Airport almost 3 years ago, the Continental pilots broke a basic flight rule. The transcripts show the Continental captain and his 24-year-old first officer were talking shop as they came in for a landing. The captain, as a matter of fact, I got hired with about 625 hours. The first officer, oh, wow, that's not much for back when you got hired. They broke a basic flight rule, no non-essential chatter below 10,000 feet.
Keep your head in the game. You always need to have your head in the game.
That same thing was said almost 2 years ago as the NTSB investigated why ComAir Flight 5191 crashed. The board listed non-pertinent conversation in the cockpit leading to a loss of awareness as a probable cause of the crash. In the case of ComAir, the pilots took off from the wrong runway. In the Buffalo crash, the captain and first officer talked about icing. NTSB sources tell CBS the talking pilots didn't notice the ice-glazed plane was losing airspeed, making it vulnerable to a stall. The first officer admitted, "I've never seen any. I've never experienced any of that. I don't want to have to experience and make those kinds of calls. You know, I'd have freaked out. I'd have seen this much ice and thought, oh my gosh, we were going to crash." 5 minutes later, they did crash. In the last seconds, there was confusion in the cockpit. They yanked back on the controls. Pilots are trained to push down to pick up speed. By then, it was too late to recover. The captain swore and said, "We're down." The first officer screamed. All 49 people aboard the